Let's go over 10 leadership quotes that I think you're going to enjoy. The first one is by John Quincy Adams, and it says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And I really like this because, again, as a leader, you are supposed to inspire. You're supposed to emulate. I've been hitting on this a lot. You're supposed to be that person that people want to aspire to be like. You're supposed to be the hero, right? If you inspire others to dream more, learn more, and then do. So not only do you inspire them to want to do more, to actually want to learn, but then they go out and they do it and they become more to the point that you essentially changed this person's life for the better. You became that, that beacon of change for them. You are a leader, and that is what a leader is. That is what separates a leader and a manager. A leader is somebody that is really willing to change that individual, as opposed to a manager that maybe just regulates and manages and helps with processes and all that stuff. But the leader actually invokes change on the individual. This next one is by Vince Lombardi, and it says, leaders aren't born, they are made. And they're made just like anything else, through hard work, and that's the price we'll have to pay to achieve the goal or any goal. So just like anything in life, leaders are made. Through the fire and the stone, through the hard work, through the sweat and tears, a leader is molded, right? They're molded from everything that could possibly go wrong. That is where you get the best leaders from. And just like he says, anything in life is going to require this. And that's the price that you're going to have to pay to achieve that goal. And he says it right there, or any goal. And it's true. A leader, just like anything else, is a skill. Becoming a leader, having these traits, is a skill. And how do you learn a skill? Through doing, through experience, through education, through failures, through success. You learn all these things, and that helps you become a leader. So you're not born a leader. Yes, there's some people who have better traits off the bat, but somebody that puts themselves out there, somebody that leads a team, somebody that has 100 employees, somebody that has 50 employees, 10 employees, 1 employee, 2 employees, whatever it is, somebody that volunteers outside of work to become a leader, to help other people, that does nonprofits, whatever it is, they are more exposed, they have more experiences, they put themselves in scenarios that other people don't, and they learn different methods of resolving issues that maybe a person who only has worked in one area of leadership has, right? You want to be well versed, and it's just like anything. If you are seeing this, and if your ability to lead is like this because you've only led in this scenario, and your competitors have led in this scenario, in this scenario, in this scenario, in this scenario, you have a wider lens. All of a sudden, your competitor knows how to lead teams in different scenarios, in different cultures. They know how to mold teams. They know how to create teams from out of nowhere. They know a lot more skills than you do, or vice versa. You know more than they do because you've taken the opportunity to learn all these things in different areas of leadership. This next one is by Rolf Nader. It says, the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. I love this. You want to be a leader that creates leaders. It's so true. You don't want to be creating followers. You don't want to have a little army of people. You don't want to be, that cult. You don't want to be a cult leader that, think about, yeah, that's a perfect example. I'm gonna hit on that. Think about the cults right now. Think about a cult that has that leader, and no matter what that person does, they're never wrong. They can lose you money. There's YouTube channels right now where these people literally say stocks, and people pay them, and they give them money on streams, and they give them money on YouTube, and all they're doing is picking stocks, and people pick the same stocks as them. And to me, it feels like a cult because they have no idea what they're doing. And if you look at the company's evaluation, you would be like, why are you investing this much money on that? And it's literally gambling, but they're creating followers. They, as their platform, are creating people who are followers, not who are leaders. They're not teaching valuable skills to them to become leaders. They're not teaching the viewers how to evaluate a business, how to evaluate a 10K, how to pull forms from the investor relations, how to check what the last earnings call said, what it even means when they do speak on the earnings call. They don't do any of that because they don't want to create leaders. They want to create followers. So now you have to reflect on yourself. What type of leaders are you creating in your business? What type of people are you giving the opportunity to come up and follow and pass on the torch to when the time comes? You need to make sure that you're leading a team to success by not just showing, but by educating and by putting them on the front line so that they can also have the opportunity to become leaders. Thomas Edison said, "I have not failed. I found 10,000 ways that won't work." I think I've heard that quote a couple times from other people. I guess Thomas Edison was the first one to say it, but it's saying I never failed. I mean, obviously he's saying, I've made mistakes. I had ways. I did studies, I did tests, I just didn't work, but there were not mistakes. There were just 10,000 ways that didn't work. And think about that, right? Think about how you have failed, how I have failed. I think about it, right? Like the moments that I've made the wrong decisions, the moments that I've lost money, the moments that I've gained money. And I think my biggest lessons in life have unfortunately been the most expensive lessons, where I go back and I say, wow. I think like, wow, if I knew then what I know now, I can't imagine how far ahead I'd be. And sometimes it's a curse, right? Because I do think about that. Like, if I wouldn't have made this financial decision, if I would have purchased this instead of this, if I would have done this instead of that, I could have been so much more ahead, is what I think. But I didn't know back then what I know now, and it doesn't serve me any good to think about what ifs, because I didn't know that. And I had to learn because of that mistake that cost me X. Now I know. Now I'm in a situation where I know if that opportunity, if that scenario, if that event happens again, I know how to react. I didn't know back then. I wish I did. I just hadn't been in that scenario, and I did what I thought was best. And I really like this because it says, I didn't, personally me, I didn't make that mistake, right? If I take this quote into consideration, that wasn't a mistake. That was just my decision at that point was one way that didn't work. And sure, it was an expensive way that didn't work. It cost me earnings in the future, but reflecting on it, I know now, and I won't make that mistake again. So I like that quote. It hit home for me. This one is by Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I've missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Think about probably the most decorative NBA player that ever lived saying this, that he missed 9,000 shots, that he's lost 300 games, that 26 times he's failed his team to take the winning shot. Think about all that. And he says, that is why I succeed. All those mistakes are the reason why I succeed. And this goes into play a lot with the last quote, but it's still very important because it puts more into perspective somebody that we can physically see what type of failures they had, and now we know what type of success they had afterwards. So it's to say that no matter what mistakes you have made as a leader, as a manager, as a business owner up to this date, you are still successful to an extent. You have still made successes. You may be far ahead of your peers. You may be behind your peers, but you have lessons that they don't have that are going to help you catch up. You have a family you love. Maybe you don't have anything, and that could be your strength because you're able to push harder than a lot of people who have families. And maybe you're in a situation that you just don't know what to do, but just remember that there are people who have failed in life multiple times, like this quote says, like Michael Jordan, and who found success at the end. And there's no reason why you or anybody who have failed in other areas cannot find success as well at the end of the tunnel. This next one is by General Patton, and it says, lead me, follow me, or get out of my way. Plain and simple, straight to the point. Lead me, show me what to do, get in front of me, pave the way, I'll follow you. Follow me, meaning be behind me. Let's go. I'm going to lead the charge. You're going to be behind me. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to be emulating me, and I'm going to guide you. Or get out of my way. If you're not going to do either that, you're just a nuisance. You're just in the way. You're preventing me from success. You're preventing me from accomplishing the mission. You're preventing me from meeting my goal, whatever it is. The point is that if you're in a scenario that you don't have a leader, you don't have followers, and you have people there that are neither or, get them out of the way. They're not there to help you. They either need to lead you into something, right? And so you have like a director of finance and they're leading you towards financial success. They're teaching you what it means to succeed in that area of department because you're the CEO or you're the business owner or whatever. But they're the person you hired for that spot is leading that charge. You are a CEO and you have people who are following you to success, and you may have people who are just lingering around, who are just wasting resources. Get them out of the way. Don't let them waste resource. Don't let them waste your time, which is valuable. Don't let them prevent you from meeting your goal if they're not doing one of those two things. This is what General Patton is saying, and I would have to agree. This next one is by General MacArthur, and it says, age wrinkles the body, quitting wrinkles the soul. So as you get older, your body wrinkles, but every time you quit, you wrinkle your soul. You make it more vulnerable is what I understand this to be, right? When you quit, you create vulnerability in your soul and you become more susceptible to quitting in the future because you've done it before. And for you to break that habit, I've seen it in people and it's hard because they develop a mindset where they feel like nothing matters. And you need to really break through from that. And you need to understand that you're wrinkling your soul every time you do that based on what General MacArthur is saying, right? General MacArthur is saying you're wrinkling your soul, becoming weaker, you're becoming more fragile, you're susceptible to disease, whatever it means to be old. All that is affecting your soul every time you quit. So don't quit. Get some growth mindset in, get some courage, push through, go through, fail, right? We've learned that failing is good because it helps you succeed in the future, and it's the reason why a lot of people succeed. But if you quit, you will never be given that opportunity. This next one is by Aristotle, and it says, he who has never learned to obey cannot be a good commander. I mean, it's true. If you have never obeyed, it's an old quote, right? So what he means by obey, he means if you've never been a follower, if you never had a leader in front of you, if you never learned how to take orders, if you never learned how to take commands from others, if you can't do that, you're never going to be a good commander. You're never going to be a good leader because you don't understand what it means to properly follow and give yourself the ability to learn from other people, to get insights from how other people are leaders, from how other people have succeeded. You are more in your own bubble and you feel that you are going to do the right decisions all the time, and that's just not true. If you cannot listen, if you cannot learn, you will not lead and you will not be a good manager. And eventually in business, in the W2 world, these types of failures, this type of mentality is going to lead to a lot of failures because you're not able to properly be the leader and the manager that the team needs. This next one is by Lao Tzu, and it says, to lead people, walk behind them. Now, this is how I interpret this quote, because some of you may be thinking that it means to lead from the back. What I understand it as is to understand your team. And I get that from where it says, you walk behind them. You listen to what they're saying. You let them take the charge. You hear their concerns, what they feel that can be improvements, any discrepancies in the processes, whatever it is. It means that in order for you to lead people, you walk behind them and you are humble enough to say, okay, you guys have it from here. You guys are able to walk in the front. You hear their complaints, you hear their concerns because you're behind them. They're in the lane. The way I envision it is this: they're in a line, all walking together, talking to each other, gossiping, and you're behind them and you're listening to everything that they're saying. And when the time comes for you to be a leader, you use that communication that you got from there and you fix the holes and you fix the discrepancies and all that stuff. So that's how I understand it. If you do have a different way of understanding it, put a comment below. What do you think that this quote really means? I think that's what it means, and I like it because I find it to be true. I think that, we need to give everybody the opportunity to voice their opinion and to have their input. That way we can build a better culture and a better team organization. The last one is by General Mattis himself, and it's the quote that says, be polite, be professional, but have a plan to kill everybody you meet. Now, relax. I know, so it's intense. I'm not saying go into the corporate meeting with the customer and just be like, oh man, I can't wait. Say something because I have a plan right now for you. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the quote is applicable, in my opinion, to being a leader because I don't necessarily see it as a plan to kill everybody you meet. I mean it as you understand the person that's in front of you before you even meet them.